So hello guys, welcome. Today we'll see what all equipments or items are required to do wall wash on ship. So I've arranged all the items for you to see it properly. We'll start from the beginning from the left side. You must have a 500 ml of bottle, sample bottles. You can have sample bottles of this round shape or open mouth. It depends what kind of funnel you have. As you can see over here, this is the funnel which I have, which is open type, and it is not matching to my bottle. So of course for this I'm not using these kind of bottles. I'm using open mouth bottles. As you can see, if I put over this, it is very easy for wall wash to drain inside these bottles. So that's why I'm using open mouth bottles. Otherwise you also have sharp edges funnels, which we don't have here on the bottle. So make sure you have a stainless steel funnel, which is much more better than a plastic funnel. Then you must have a paint marker just to mark on your bottles. With a permanent marker, it normally fades away. So it's best you must have a paint marker from which you can mark the tank name. You can mark the tank name on the bottle itself, so that it is easy when you are going for multiple tanks. And next is bottles, 500 ml bottles of plastic bottles. You can normally mark them DI water. As you can see, I've marked them DI water, methanol, so on. Now, only thing which I have to tell you over here is, so as you can see over here, it has a neck which is pointing downwards. So this thing is okay for here for DI bottles. But if you go inside a tank, it is very hard to squeeze the bottle and spray this on the tank. So make sure you have such a bottle also, which has a nose which is pointing upwards, or at least which is not pointing downwards, as you can see. So as you can see the difference between these two bottles, this bottle will be good for doing, so this bottle will be good for doing methanol spray on the tank instead of this bottle, as it will be very hard for anybody to spray on the tank as compared to this one, which has a sharp inclination towards neck. So for methanol, make sure you have such bottle. If you don't, then cut this. You can cut it from here so that you can make one for your own. Now these are test tubes. So there are different type of test tubes, 100 ml, 50 ml, and in different shape and from different companies. These are glass bottles, but the one which I normally use is these ones, 50 ml. And you can see it does not have multiple graduation. It only have two graduation, 25 ml and 50 ml. So as you can see over here, as compared to this one, it has multiple graduations, and the markings are also in blue color. So once you are reading your test, it will be difficult for you to read to check for white beams or blue color lines for chloride. It is very hard in these bottles. So the best is such bottles which have only least markings, like you can see 25 ml and 50 ml. It only has two markings and there are no other graduations, and these markings are also in white color, not in some other color which might disturb your observance. So best is these bottles. So that's why you can see these three bottles I've kept over here. I'm doing all my tests within these bottles as compared to the other bottle which has multiple graduations. So I'm not using these bottles. And 50 ml bottle is more than enough for you to do any test, chloride test or hydrocarbon test. Now next is these pipettes. So make sure you have pipettes, and they also must have graduation. You must have a pipettes which must have graduation, 3 ml, 2.5, 2 ml, and so on. This is only 1 ml pipette. So make sure you have 3 ml pipette. This is much more useful as compared to the one which is 1 ml. And also you must have a stand. You must have a stand to keep your test tubes. Next is shoe covers. So there are two types of shoe cover, as plastic shoe covers which are of low quality, and also there are shoe covers of clothes. So these one are also shoe covers. So these are of cotton material. So these are good. They can last at least in 2-3 tanks, as compared to the ones which are plastic. They will last maybe 1 tank. Now next is gloves. These gloves, make sure you have these gloves. These gloves are powder free. As you can read over here, these are powder free, textured clear. This is very important. They should not have any powder on them. Okay, these are not surgical gloves. Remember this. These are powder free gloves. Any color, blue color, white color, whatever color you have. Make sure you have a bucket, because once you are, for example, let's say this is my methanol bottle. For example, you are washing your bottles, rinsing your bottles. You must have a bucket to collect all your residues of methanol, DI, everything. So you make sure you have one bucket in your CCR. And also one bag. You can have any kind of bag, carry bag. This is just a normal bag which we have kept over here. This is somebody's used bag which we have kept. So this bag is very handy when I want to carry methanol, sample bottle, then funnel. So for it to take sample in a tank, all I need is these three things: methanol, sample bottle, and funnel. So this becomes very handy to carry it. And if you want to go in multiple tanks, it's very easy to carry it on your shoulder. Now, also, other than the equipments, there are three chemicals which you must have. One is nitric acid bottle, 20% solution. You can read over here. This is nitric acid. I have marked on the cap also, just for my easy reference to check it every time. And then there is silver nitrate, 5% solution. So these two bottles are required for chloride test. Once you are doing chloride test for your wall wash samples, these two chemicals will be required. And next, I also have one bottle of sulfuric acid. This sulfuric acid bottle is required to clear these test tubes or sample bottles if it has discoloration, if it has some other coloration, pink, yellow, if they are not cleaned properly. If you doubt that they are not being cleaned properly, you can add few drops of sulfuric acid in your bottles or in your sample bottles, then rinse it properly with DI, add DI, rinse properly, and then throw in your buckets. Also, if you want, you can have tissue papers with you just to wipe your bottles and all if you are required. So also, you also have one cold bath which must be there. In this we have to do PTT test. So this also you must have. This is required for PTT test. So also you must have an surface where you have either black color garbage bag or something just to do your test, because the sample must be checked behind a black screen. So that's why we have kept this. Also you should also have lights with yourself to carry out these tests. So as you can see, this light and this light, I have two lights over here. The problem with this light is that it is blue in nature. And let me just switch off the light and show you. So here you can see, after switching on the light, it is slightly much more apparent that the light is bluish in nature. So we should not have such light. And on the other end, if you will see that if I switch on the other light, it is slightly yellowish. So it's better to have such slightly yellowish or whitish light instead of bluish light, because the bluish light will obscure your visual results. Color light has blue in it, so there is no requirement of such lights. So never keep such lights. Make sure you have a flashlight which is intrinsically safe, of course. So make sure you have a flashlight which is in white color. The core of it has a LED which is of white color, because once you are referring to your samples, it's better that you have a clear sample in white color rather than a blue light, because it will always show blue color. So these lights are not good. Make sure you have a light of white color. So that's why I have this white color light, or at least either you can have a MEG light, which is of course a requirement, but if you don't have MEG lights, then you can have such light which is white color LED in it. Thank you. Okay. First is you must have a 500 ml of water, 500 ml, as you can see. Sure, fuck this. And also you must have a stand. You must have a stand to keep your test tubes. So all your different test tubes can also. The problem with this light is that it is blue in nature. You can see the difference between these two lights. This is blue in nature by itself.
It's not showing.
You can see on the bulkhead. And let me just switch off the light and show you. You can see it is showing blue color.
Still white. Still white. One of them is just brighter white. It's not changing. So it won't change because the illumination.
Okay. 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 So you could not see this on the. You can switch off. Switch on. So you could not see this on the camera, but there is a difference that this color light, or let me just blue color here.
Same.
आँखा भोसड़ा बहन चोद।